Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's Sanam Solati Yurczyk with New England Prestige Realty.
And Kelly with Total Mortgage.
Yeah, and today we are
talking about millennials.
Yeah,
which is a topic near and dear to my heart as a millennial.
I am almost a millennial.
You
but
are.
But I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm technically a Gen Xer, but I'm at the tail end.
The tail end. See, and I'm at the very beginning. I'm an elder millennial. I'm the oldest you can be as a millennial.
But you're still a millennial.
I'm still a millennial, and I will hold on to that forever.
Yeah. So we were talking about helping millennials, right? So statistically, U.S., like over throughout the whole U.S., there's about 60% of home ownership, right? 60% of people own homes. About 40% ish are renting. But then when you kind of break that down into like the millennials, like you guys are actually like falling behind.
We are lagging behind. Millennials are the smallest portion of homeowners.
Yeah, they comprise under 50%. It's like 47.9% of millennials own homes. So how can we help bring you guys up to at least the Gen Xers, which are about 69% of us own homes? And
well, let me think about why, right? Like as a millennial, why would I not own a home? Number one, student loans for millennials are much larger than generations prior.
They are.
So that can be a deterrent to some buyers. It doesn't have to be.
But it impacts their debt to income ratio.
But it does impact their debt to income. Also, a lot of millennials have stayed in school longer than their predecessors. So it's where prior we generally found the average person was staying in college for generally between 2 and 4. Yep. The average millennial was in college for 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
So why? It's not because it took us longer to get through school, but people are getting more degrees.
Yeah.
They are staying for 5-year programs and things like that. Yeah. So that does absolutely impact their ability to buy homes, right? You stayed in school longer. You probably started your career a little bit later.
Yeah.
Also, depending on your graduation year, and I was one of those, you may have graduated into the 2008 crisis. Okay.
Yes.
So you may have graduated into a recession. So generally wealth was harder to build.
It was.
It was more difficult to find stable income in the field of your choice. You may have job hopped a lot. So a lot of millennials do feel bad.
However, when that did all happen, the ease of getting into homeownership was actually very easy. I remember we used to do home buying seminars at universities trying to educate, young college grads or people approaching graduation that, you know what, you only need 3.5%. And depending on where you're looking, maybe you only need 0%.
Yeah, you might need nothing. And for so many people, renting feels easy.
Yes.
Right. However, and people think, well, it's cheaper. Especially these days.
Yes.
You need first, last, security. It could be
sometimes 2 months security.
6,000, 7,000
more
to get in, like for day one to get into somewhere. We might be able to get you a house that same amount of money.
As a down payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a down payment. So, it's definitely something that's tough. But the rental trap, now, we like to always be honest. Renting is great.
It has its place.
Renting absolutely has its place. There are some scenarios, times, places where renting is absolutely the best choice for you as a borrower. But what happens with rentals a lot is it becomes just easy. I've been in the same place. I'll just renew my lease. I don't have to do anything different.
I was talking to a renter who's been in their place for 5 years. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The numbers.
The numbers
don't lie.
The other thing that comes into play is just the cost of waiting.
This is so huge. We talk about it. We're going to actually dive into it a little bit so you can hear real numbers and hopefully it resonates with you. Right now you've talked about the hierarchy of loan types.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic, it wasn't as strong of an issue.
Yeah.
They're back. Like the hierarchies are back. This past winter, they kind of disappeared for a minute and we were encouraging buyers to get out there, get on the horse and to go find their perfect place to call home. They're back. We are now competing again with cash buyers. If you need financing and, getting a full-blown mortgage commitment now, if you are thinking of buying a home, I can't stress how important that is.
It's everything right now. It's really the only way to get these offers accepted is with a full mortgage commitment.
Yeah.
But the other trick with the cost of waiting is we dug into some numbers from pre-pandemic life.
Actually, can I share what a house would look like?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're in Glastonbury and, we were talking a little bit about what a starter home looks like.
Yeah.
So when I bought my first place, like it was a tiny little peanut. I bought a little condo. It was just like a 1 bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
It was very affordable. My interest rate was almost 6%.
But it didn't feel bad.
It didn't feel bad. It was inexpensive. I was living beneath my means, which is what everybody should be doing. And it felt great to own my own piece of property. And by investing in that and not wasting money on rent for the few years that I lived there, that actually helped fund my next purchase for my next place that I called home. But now, like again, looking at Glastonbury, like a starter home, let's say like a 3-bedroom colonial, like around 2,000 square feet. Back in 2019, you could buy something like that in this town for around 300,000.
Yep.
Plus or minus, depending on condition and location and all that.
Now, wait, let's talk about that. So let's stop there.
I'll stop.
Stop there. That house in 2019, okay, just some numbers. If you bought that house in 2019 for 300,000, where interest rates were then, and just kind of a baseline, your mortgage payment would have been around $1,900 a month. Okay.
That's not bad. And that includes like taxes and
insurance.
That's not the Zillow number that has no.
Correct.
This is like a real
the real number. It would have been around $1,900 a month. That's a 20% down loan. There's other options.
Yeah. But back then rents were lower too. So like if you were renting to get like a starter home, you could be under $1,500.
Correct. Well, so then if you rented, in February of 2019, if you rented in February of 2019, at say $1,200 a month, which was probably not crazy for 2019. Now that's insane. It'd be glorious. It's not what it looks like. If you were renting for $1,200 a month. Okay. We're now going to fast forward to today.
2023, baby.
So that was the house in 2019. You have two tracks. You either bought that house or you rented and now you're going to buy.
I wonder which one is the better option.
What's the better option? So had you stayed renting, you would have spent $57,000 on rent in that period of time.
Oh my God.
So that's issue number one. Issue number two is now that same house. Sanam, what is that house today?
Oh my God. So if you want to move into that today, February in Glastonbury, anywhere from $400,000 to $450,000.
Same house. Okay.
Yeah,
so now you're in this house, right? We're going to buy this house. The monthly mortgage payment would be around $2,800 a month. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're about another $1,000 a month or so in monthly mortgage payment.
What does that cost of waiting look like? So just from what you're paying, like differences in mortgage, the appreciation in your home value. So like if you had bought and now you wanted to sell, you would walk away with like a piece of cash in your pocket,
like
a little wad of cash.
And the difference in the mortgage payments is almost $32,000 over that period of time.
Wow.
Now, we don't tell you that to make you feel bad that you didn't buy in 2019, but this is the conversation that happens a lot today is borrowers say, well, should I just wait?
So actually I have a couple of buyers who it's exhausting. This market is not for the faint of heart. Like it is, we're pulling up our sleeves. We're doing everything we can to make our borrowers, our buyers look really strong, right? So having a full-blown mortgage commitment so that we can have a quick closing, especially if we're looking at a vacant property. Minimizing inspection time periods. I'm dealing with people we're competing with people who are waiving them altogether.
Again,
I'm not very comfortable with that. Like, again, it depends on the scenario and it depends on the buyer, but how can we make our buyers as strong as possible? So having something like that is really huge, but also not getting like beat up and beat down, like when it doesn't work. When we're not able to get into that property, like just getting back on and let's go find the next place to call home. Because again, the cost of waiting, I'm getting that. Should I just wait until next year? And I'm like, well, are we delaying the inevitable? And then is it going to cost you more? Like just looking at these numbers, hearing them, they're pretty real and they're pretty large.
Yeah. And I think that there's been a lot of sort of speculation that was all of this over the last few years just temporary? Are we going to see a housing crash? Whatever. Guys, none of the market indicators, none of them show a housing crash.
Yeah.
We do have some recessionary things going on. It's a recession, right? Yeah. We can all just admit that we're in a recession right now. There's stuff like it's coming. It's not coming. It's here. We're in it. It is considered a mild one. And they actually think that it will be over fairly shortly, but nothing in this recession looks anything like 2008.
No.
None of the factors that impacted the housing portion of the 2008 market in play today. So do we see a housing crisis or a housing crash?
No, the housing crisis is that there's not enough inventory. And
Yeah.
that is the housing crisis. So again, we don't have a crystal ball,
No.
but we do tune into everything real estate.
Yeah,
and mortgage
you should see
related.
Sanam text messages of the things that we like send back. And did you see this? Did you read that? Did you see this?
Breaking news.
Yeah.
But it's real. And more than that, again, real estate is super like hyper local. So like what's happening in our market? We still in this town, we're hovering under 30 listings. And of that, like half of them is just like one little development. Like, so really true. Like we're dealing with 10 to 15 houses.
And so then the next question is like, well, what's the harm in just continuing to rent? Right. So like, if that's what I'm worried about, what's the harm in just continuing to rent? And I think that's just the piece of, if you look at the net wealth of somebody who owns a house for someone who rents, the homeowner always has a higher net wealth.
Yeah.
And net wealth may not mean any, and this is probably like some millennial drums, which I feel, it's hard to envision that issue now.
Yep.
Okay. What is my net wealth? I don't care right now. I care. Can I pay my bills? Can I pay for childcare?
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. But if you were to look at your retirement plans and your end goals, right, of your financial situation 20 years from now, 30 years from now, that net wealth is imperative to your success in retirement.
Yeah.
And what you are gaining in equity today impacts your retirement plans 30 years from now.
Absolutely. And even just think about the compounding effect over the years. They're significant.
Well, even the rental is when I did that rental math, I said $1,200 in rent from then to
which
now.
Which is a very modest number. That doesn't include increases.
Well, and the increases are almost the biggest piece to it, that it's just hard for us to gauge those. But I have not seen a rental for $1,200, especially like if you were looking here in Glastonbury, a 2-bedroom rental in Glastonbury is well over $2,000 at this point, and going up steadily, where when you own a home, you have a more fixed payment. Yes, your taxes might go up. Yes, your homeowner's insurance might go up, but they're not going up 10%, 20%, 30% like those rents are.
But there's also tax benefits as well with those increases.
Yeah,
so
100%.
They're not as detrimental.
So millennials, this is your call to action.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are a millennial and you are out there and you have not yet bought a home, you're thinking about it, you're scared about it, you're going, I have too many student loans, I have childcare, whatever it might be, we'd love to talk to you, not necessarily to get you into a home today. We get that that's not feasible for everybody, but let's talk about what is your long-term plan to get into a house? What might it look like? And what do we have to do to set you up for success?
And then Gen Xers, come on out. We're only at 69% and baby boomers are almost at 80%. So we also need to step it up.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is time, millennials, this is your market. This is it. Listen, we're used to being scrappy, so let's get in there and buy houses.
There we go. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.